Was pregnant with me.
Is that your real name?
Neptune Shade.
Neptune Shade. Where you get your name from?
When my mom was pregnant with me.
Is that your real name?
Yes. When my mom was pregnant with me, she was sitting on a beach looking into the horizon, and it was whispered into one of her ancestors whispered into her ear to name her unborn child me Neptune.
Before he was born?
Yeah.
Neptune. What's Neptune?
The deity of the sea, the planet.
Okay, so that was your name from birth, Neptune.
Yeah.
That's your birth name?
Yeah, that was given to my mom to give to me.
Neptune.
Yeah.
Alright then, cool. Right, so we was talking earlier on about to be free on this land and what you want to do, the platform. What is exactly that you're going to be doing? What exactly do you want to do?
Well, basically to continue what I've already engaged, which is to facilitate and guide around awarenesses as it relates to self-sovereignty, self-responsibility, self-accountability, self-care, self-development, self-awareness, everything to do with self and taking responsibility for everything on our side of our fence, bringing your attention back from the external to the internal, walking on 2 feet, not dragging on 1 foot alone in the physical, walking on 1 foot in the physical, walking confidently and upright on 1 foot in the physical, and confidently and upright with the other foot firmly planted in the spiritual as well. As in yin yang, masculine, feminine, left, right, up, down, the balance. We're supposed to be walking on 2 feet in this life. Our relationships and connections with our higher selves, our oversoul, our spirit, our soul, our superconscious, we're supposed to have a really close, intimate, daily relationship with that, and more than daily, factually, throughout every day, throughout every moment. We're supposed to be checking in with ourselves and our spirit teams, spirit guardians, our ancestors, the Almighty Creator. We're supposed to be checking in with them first before we engage anything in the physical. To make sure that we're in honor and integrity, that we're within natural law, that we're not bringing dis-ease, that we bring in ease, so that we're not destroying anything, so that we're creating.
So you're talking about natural law. What is natural law though? What do you mean by natural law?
Right, so there's hierarchy of laws, universal law at the top, cosmic law and natural law. Natural law is basically, in a nutshell, bear no harm, dis-ease or loss onto anyone or anything. Basically, in a nutshell, briefly. And within natural law, we have free will, which is our inalienable right. We can choose anything. The thing with that is, in choosing anything, there's a result of that. There's a consequence to that result. And we are the bearer of those consequences. Everything we put out comes back to us. Some refer to it as karma, as sins, as cosmic return. Every intention, every thought, every word, spell or commandment, or every tone, content, consistency, there's a vibration to it, there's a frequency to it, and we are, as creators, projecting that out into the multiverse. There's a consequence to that. It is either going to...
Sorry, when I ask if this is through meditation, you go through meditation in order to gain all this information.
That's one way to do it, and there are different types of meditation. There's no hard and fast about meditation. Yes.
Can you go into that in regard to the different forms that you are actually talking about?
Yes, you can go into meditation, yes.
Now I ask if you can talk about this, you said there are different forms.
Or, for instance, so for me, my basic practice of meditation is anything that brings you to center, anything that brings you to you, anything that brings your attention, your awareness, to the present, that is a form of meditation. Washing, house cleaning, walking down the road, being on the bus, being on the train, that could be a form of meditation. Another type of meditation can be you spiritually cleanse your body, you spiritually cleanse your space, and you intentionally sit quietly with you and you go into you redivert your attention, your awareness, your life force into you, within you, and you sit and you observe. You learn, you study your thoughts, what type of thoughts they are, the frequencies of your thoughts, where the thoughts coming from, whether it's your thoughts or whether it's something being projected into your fields, and what is your duty and responsibility with that. Meditation, usually I strongly recommend that with meditation, you engage meditation as though you're going to the grocery or to the supermarket. When you go into the supermarket or the grocery, usually you don't go whimsically. You go with the intention to acquire a few products, a few ingredients, a shopping list. So in meditation, you create your shopping list. So you're going into the meditation for healing or to learn more about your spirit, to connect with your spirit, to learn what is your vocation in this life, to learn what is your craft, to learn what is your abilities, strengths, X-Men genes, to learn who is your guardian, who is your guide, to learn your ancestors, who are their names, what are their specialities, how they could help you to help yourself, to improve you, to improve your service and contribution and facilitations to the world. So there are different types of meditation, there are different purposes for meditation. You could go into meditation to learn, why my relationship with John Doe is so diseasing, or so A, or so B, or so C. And what can you do to improve, to raise the vibration in that relationship?
Question. How do you know that you haven't got a deceiving spirit leading you in the wrong way? Right,
so that is a level of discernment which is not common. Mm-hmm. That is something, that is a muscle that requires being built, being grown, being developed. Mm-hmm. And it happens over practice. With your practice, with each engagement, with each experience, it is our duty and responsibility to look back on that experience and to extrapolate lessons, to look for the lessons as in, where can I do better, where can I do more? Where can I improve my tone, content, consistency? Where can I improve my boundaries? What different questions can I ask to get a clearer response, to get clearer clarity? They are really in the astrals, in meditations, you connect to different realms, different dimensions, different things, different spaces. You also, in meditation, you access different levels, different states of your consciousness, of you, of the authentic you. And a benevolent or divine being will guide you, will empower you, would guide you to do something that will bring ease, that will raise the vibration. A maleficent being, or a being that is divisive or deceitful, will guide you to do something that is malicious, something that is low vibrating, something that is non-sovereign, something that is compromising to your awesomeness, something that compromises your light, or something that compromises an aspect of the collective, an aspect of nature, an aspect of earth. So there is where you ask questions, you ask the being, you like your favorite or closest relationship, you have that open dialogue. It is you transfer that dynamic to these beings, to these spirits, to these members of your teams, to whatever. You transfer that skill and have practice an open dialogue, and you get a response. You're not clear, it feels deceasing, it feels eerie. You ask more questions. Are you working with the light, for the light? And they may not respond immediately. You ask the question 3 times out loud, they have to respond. And then you engage, I rebuke and I banish you from my space and spaces now, so be it and so it is.
So this is how you get rid of, remember this, in the spiritual realm, these spirits say it's stupid. Some of them are stupid, yeah. Some of them are smart,
Very crafty.
right? So you have to, even though you have discernment, you can, even though the Bible says even the elect can be deceived.
Agreed.
Right? So no matter how you may be, as it says another again, the higher the mountain climbs, is the more it will expose. So the higher you rise spiritually, is the more subtle the attack will be.
Appropriate.
Yeah, that's what it means. It will be exposed, but the higher, because you're so high, your consciousness has to be like, because the higher you climb, the thinner the air is. Yeah, even in the aeroplane, the higher you climb, the more it will expose, but the thinner the air will be. So that means what you're looking for might not be in your face. It's going to be a small, like the air when you're high. You get what I'm saying? So
I've experienced that a few times.
Right,
I've
so
experienced deceitful entities coming and trying to get me to use my life force to help them with their agenda.
Right, so this is why I need to make sure that we're on the right page. You know? Yeah. Need to make sure that we're on the right page. Because although we're talking about this, we don't want somebody to try it at home. And when they try it at home, another entity says, oh, it's the opportunity now to interfere and lead them astray and make them think that it's God when it's not God.
Appropriate.
Yeah, because these things can happen.
I've experienced that. It has happened to me.
Right, so how does one discern or test the spirit, like you just said a minute ago?
Right.
Yeah.
So apart from the level of development, one way to safeguard from that is before you enter that meditation or that space, you cleanse yourself with Palo Santo, sage, frankincense and myrrh, different oils, etc. You cleanse yourself, you cleanse the space, and you command certain types of protection. Golden bubble, light into the space and spaces, light throughout this space and spaces. Archangel Michael to protect this space and the proceedings in this space and spaces now. Benevolent, elevated ancestors to protect this space and spaces and the proceedings.
So when you're saying, this is the key word, like word sound, you said command. We have the right to command?
Yes,
or
we do.
Do we ask?
No, we're not asking. We command. We are creators. We have the autonomy to command.
Right.
We are creators.
Now, although I know some of the answers to the questions that I'm asking you, I'm just asking you this because if anybody's listening, they will also learn from this, and also they have the right to command. Yeah, which people don't.
It's not just a right. It's more than a right. It's an entitlement.
Right, but some people don't know this because they're so much into the book, into the Bible. They think only God can command.
Yeah.
Everything is God. Everything we got to do what God says. But
Right.
then you're telling us.
Right. So with that now, we are made in His image and likeness, right? So that means we are creators. So we can command.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
All right then. So.
Because we were bred to be victims and slaves and livestock and chattel and commodity, etc. Right? So we know about praying. We're not supposed to be praying. Victims and slaves pray because they're helpless and they can't do better. Our spirit teams, we are equals. They are colleagues. They're not better than us. They're not more powerful than us.
Right, but you're saying we're not supposed to pray.
No.
Yeah,
we offer gratitude.
All right, so there's praying, for an example. Praying inwardly and outwardly to a source outside of yourself. You're saying we're not really supposed to pray. But can't praying be the same thing, but you're talking to the divinity within yourself? Inward prayer instead of outward prayer.
Okay, so to take that apart, legalese. What we speak, it's legalese. Legalese is a language that the corporation uses. It is not English, it is double speak. It locks us out of certain things and it locks us into certain things. For example, understand. I understand. When you say you understand, you're declaring that you're standing under someone's authority. When you say I want, I need, you're declaring that you're a victim because a victim want and a victim need. Want, you prefer, you rather. Need, you require certain things.
So you don't need, you don't want.
No, you require and you prefer.
Right, so when the Bible says, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want.
Because you're not a victim anymore. You're not a slave anymore.
Right.
And He provides without you having to ask. He provides. Your desires are met without you uttering a spell, without you uttering a word. And these are levels of development.
So in a nutshell, we saying we want things is putting us on a wheel.
Right, so to engage that, there's something called cymatics. Each words are spells, words are commandments. They are going to be actioned by nature and by our spirit teams and by the multiverse because we are creators. That's basic natural law. So the cymatics is the vibration, the frequency of each spell, each word. Nature and our teams, our ancestors acts on that because that is our free will, that is our utterance of our spells, that is our spell casting. They have to act on that. They will act on that.
Okay. So do you believe in God?
God spelled backwards is D-O-G. There's a reason for that. There are different gods. The word God was given to us from the corporation. It's one almighty creator that reigns supreme. Right. And it's neither masculine nor feminine.
All right, so I changed that word then, right? Because that is a point there, right? Do you believe there's a higher being, creator? Do you believe in this being?
As far as I comprehend and as far as clarity facilitates, I am of the opinion that there is a supreme source, a almighty source, the almighty creator or creatress, which is neither masculine nor feminine. It's not a matriarch, it's not a patriarchal structure or being.
Have you had an experience with this being?
Yes, I have.
Can you give us an example of one of the experiences that you've had with this higher being?
It's a bit intimate and that I was prepared to share. However,
no, but you see,
I'm open to engage.
Yeah, I know, but this is now you're getting to understand. Yeah. Remember I told you earlier on about the radio and what I did over the years? We're warming up into hearing you talking. Well, I said to you, I was surprised how I get away with it so long because we will get to this point of conversation, and most of the conversation will be on this level.
Appropriate.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So there's things that we ain't gonna want to say, but if you don't say, then people's gonna ask, well, why are you not saying?
Yeah, I get that. Get that. Not that someone's opinion or perspective. I no longer allow anyone's opinions or perspective to weigh on me or what I'm on about, because that is what self-sovereignty is about. When I became 33 and I learned the lotus position. It's a yoga position where you sit and cross your feet and your hand in prayer position at the level of your chest. I learned that on a Sunday and I experimented with it on a Monday, and then is when I first connected with the Almighty.
How do you know it's the Almighty?
It's a knowing that I am confident that I am yet unable to coherently articulate, because these things, intuitive spiritual stuff, to explain these experiences, there really aren't English words to describe them, to convey the essence of the experience. The power was in the presence. It was so blissful. It was so harmonious. I've never felt like home in this world. I've never felt like with that experience. I first felt alive, I first felt at home ever in my entire life, and I was 33 years. And I was a police officer for 10 years, had loads of really, really dusting experiences. That's the first time I felt like home.
Did it have a name?
No, I did. The dynamic, the experience wasn't like that. I was just
in the moment.
In the moment, yeah. I didn't get it wrong. I was immature. I was literally that was my awakening, and I wasn't experienced to ask certain questions. I wasn't experienced enough.
Okay, so when I asked you back to the question before, is have you experienced or seen this creator, which we call the Almighty? You said that you can't say your experience, but is this part of the experience?
Yes, and it was not a visual experience. It was a sensory experience. It was a sensory experience. It wasn't visual.
External or internal?
It was an internal. It was an internal experience because I was there sitting, and then the next thing I knew, I felt as though my soul was being ripped out of me or removed, and then I was just in this different place or space, and it just felt like home.
Oh.
And then after that experience, yellow stuff came running out of my nose, and it was burning my top lip. And years after, I learned that was the decalcification of my third eye.
Okay. All right. So you learned that.
Yeah. Years after, though.
Years after.
Yeah.
We call it bogey.
Ah.
Would you call it bogey? Snot.
No, it wasn't snot. I know snot. I know boogers. Yeah. It wasn't snot. It was a yellow liquid, and it was burning like acid.
Okay, so that liquid is what calcifies the pineal gland.
Well, for me anyway. Others, it might be different.
Okay. All
Can
right.
you tell me how you got to where you got to now? Did you actually go through Christianity, Buddhism?
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. Certain things have started to occur in my life, and I am a trained researcher and investigator. I was a police officer for 10 years, and I experienced accredited academics in Trinidad and Tobago, Canada, America, and here. And my intellectual me couldn't comprehend what was going on. So I leaned into Buddhism to get answers. I got nothing that stimulated me. I leaned into Hinduism, and I got nothing that stimulated me per se. And through Hinduism, I learned, I connected with yoga, and it was through that yoga asana, it's yoga positions and are called asanas. Through that lotus position, then is when I connected, and that was it for me. And I just went up and up and up, and my life just got better and better and better and easier and clearer.
Well, people can say different things because there's a lot of religious movements that should not say nothing.
Okay.
There's a lot of religious
I was
movements
saying
that says that those things are, we're not supposed to be doing these things. You know, why have we been taught that we're not supposed to be doing these kind of things?
So that is programming, conditioning, indoctrination. There's trickery and illusion. There's inversion, perversion, subversion, diversion, contortion, dilution, distraction, separation, division, brainwashing, and hijacking to get us into a slave system, to make us commodity, livestock, chattel, etc., to separate and divide us from our authentic alignment, our authentic well-being, our authentic clarity, our authentic abundance and prosperity, our authentic authenticity. These things were devised by not man, whatever man is, because there's no race as man anymore, because of all these splitting and splicing of our DNAs over the centuries. Beings that descended here and hijacked stuff and used us as livestock and hijacked our natural evolutionary processes.
All right. Now, this ability of tapping in to this higher self, do we all have this ability, regardless of our race, or do melanated people have more of this ability than non-melanated people?
Everyone has the equal right because it is within free will. We can choose. We all have the ability. The thing is to choose to tap into that ability, to develop, nurture, evolve that relationship, those connections, those abilities. It's a choice, and everyone has the capacity. Well, more than most has the capacity. Some beings on earth aren't particularly divine beings. They're referred to as NPCs, non-player characters, which aren't divine, which are clone-like, which are here to usually disrupt and distract us from coming into our authentic natural alignment.
Not too bad. Not too bad. We was talking earlier on about the flour. Remember when I was saying that there's someone
The bakery?
the bakery. A man wants to open up a bakery, and there's a man over there that grows the flour, and there's a man over there that does the machinery, and you go and work with the man with the flour and build up the man with the flour so that you can get some flour from him to bake your bread. Now when you go to the man to get the flour after you've helped him grow the wheat and everything, now he's got his flour company selling flour north, south, east and west. Now you want a bag of flour so you can make your bread. He refuses to give you your bag of flour. You said about this. What did you say about this?
That's appropriate. He is entitled to refuse you. That is his exercising his expression, him exercising his free will, him expressing his free will, which he's entitled to. And that is not right or wrong or good or bad. And that ought to be respected, not accepted. Before you go to anybody to ask for anything, we ought to be going to our ancestors first, our spirit teams and guardian and guides first, the Almighty Creator first. Charity begins at home. Everything that we're engaging in this life, we ought to be checking in with ourselves and with our teams first.
Yeah, but people go to work expecting to get their wages at the end of the week. They're not checking their ancestors to say, all right, then I'm going to go to work every day. And I know at the end of the month, I expect to get my wages. That's what you expect for the work you put in. But you're telling me you shouldn't have to expect anything.
No, I'm not saying that. But
He has his right to refuse to pay. Isn't there no consequences for that?
Right, so I'm not particularly saying that. What I'm communicating is, before you apply for that job, you should be checking in with your teams to see if that job, the ethos of that company, what they're doing with their profits, if it is in alignment with your authenticity, if it is in alignment with your awesomeness. And then you go and even before that, you ask your ancestors, hey, is it okay to engage? It is okay to apply for this job? Or you could be more active and say, I prefer this job, clear the path for me. Make everything throughout this ease and grace, and everything would flow. You put spirit first, you put light into it first.
So do you just sit down and wait for something to happen after you put that out there to your ancestors?
Definitely not. You continue knocking on doors, you continue applying. Your ancestors, your spirit teams, your Almighty Creator is going to open the door that they identify that is appropriate for you based on your current conscious state, based on your current level of development and evolution.
How will you know?
It will open, it will be easy and smooth. Once it's easy and smooth and graceful, that is when you know. Once you have to fight for something, that is when you know it's not time yet. You try something else. You don't sit and wait. You use your life force first to go in and check within and ask its teams, which side of the road should I be walking on? What time I should be on that road? How should I be dressed whilst I'm on that road? So it's a choice. It's really about, again, walking with one foot in the spiritual, walking with one foot in the physical. It ought to be in partnership with spirit. We're not supposed to be doing anything alone in this world. We're not supposed to be driving alone. We're supposed to be being guided and leaning and expecting guidance and support, facilitations and contributions from our teams, from the Almighty Creator. That is how we're supposed to be living. We weren't living like that because we were indoctrinated away from that.
So how do we know that our ancestors are communicating? I'm saying this on behalf of people that are just new to this thing, because obviously I speak on behalf of those who don't know. I do that a lot. How do you know if your ancestors are answering you? How do you know that they're hearing you? How do you know that they're communicating with you? How do you know that you're supposed to communicate with your ancestors instead of the Almighty? Or is it both? You see, there's different doors here. You have the ancestral door, which you got to go to them. Then you got the Creator, the Almighty, is another door. Which one do you choose? How do you know the difference between the two?
Appropriate. So that's free will. So you choose to go directly to the Almighty Creator. We have spirit, everyone has something specific to do in this life. In that mission, in that purpose, in that vocation, we have contracts and agreements and lessons throughout our journey, throughout our incarnation. There are different members of our ancestors. There are different other really specialized evolved beings that contracted to help us with that contract, with this life, with this throughout this incarnation.
Where are they?
You access them by going within. That is how we access them. How do you talk to me? How do I know that you're talking to me? You come to me, you address me. Similar with our teams, you go to them and you address them, you call them, you welcome them, you create a ceremonial space, and you invite them, you welcome them, you accept them, and you commune with them.
Yeah, but spirit can pretend to be them.
Right, so hence you protect the space first before you call in your spirit teams. You protect the space with different stuff, with different types of light. It have the violet flame. It have the white light. It have the golden ray. It have different rays. There are different tools and modalities and techniques out there to protect your space. And again, your higher self, your teams will guide you to these things when they identify that you're ready. And the only way to access all of this is within. It's not an external something.
So, back to so, what about then? Some people go into these sorts of things then, yeah? And then they end up getting the spiritual attacks, right? Attacked spiritually, i.e. you could be walking down the road and all of a sudden something hits you in the side of your head, or something hits you somewhere, or something hits you in the eye, or something hits you somewhere, and you get attacked. I think that's a spiritual attack. I could be wrong. How does these things happen if people are supposed to be divinely protected or believe that they're protected? How come they still open to attack or open to these sorts of things?
So based on my experience, based on from what I've experienced so far throughout my journey, and based on vicarious experience, as in facilitating and holding space for others around the world for the past few years, what I've learned is when spirit is ready to get your attention, they hit you with a grain of sand. And if you take no notice, they hit you with a pebble. If you take no notice, they hit you with a stone and then a boulder until they drop a mountain on top of you, and so you cannot move, and the only movement is within. And what might be or appear to be a spiritual attack is really you in a victim place, in a place of lack, and that, oh my goodness, something is happening to me, as opposed to, oh, what does this mean? Where is the lesson here? Where is the medicine here? Where is the guidance here? What is required of me? What is being, etc. So the thing with that is, yes, there are spiritual attacks, and we are responsible for our spiritual hygiene. We are responsible for our spiritual integrity. Hence, a spiritual routine, a spiritual practice, as soon as you rise in the day and before you retire in the day. It's something along the lines of offering gratitude to the Almighty Creator, to Mother Earth, to nature, to our teams, etc., for the experience, for the facilitations, for the support, etc. And you command them, you receive and accept them, you decree, you declare, you submit, you surrender to them, working with you, working through you for whatever is required throughout that day, throughout that experience, throughout that engagement. And at the end of the day, we are responsible for everything, because apart from us choosing this life, choosing the contracts, agreements, and lessons, choosing the teams, we have free will. We knew that we were descending into a war-ravaged world. We knew dis-ease and infection and confusion and polarity and engineering that was here. We knew this. At elevated states of consciousnesses, we knew this. So now the thing is to When we're ready, based on our contracts and agreements and lessons, we will eventually get to that place, get to that point, get to that space where we learn responsibility. We learn spiritual etiquette, spiritual hygiene. We learn that it is our duty and responsibility to walk on 2 feet, one in the physical, one in the spiritual. Not just dragging exhaustingly on 1 foot in the physical. So at some point, we will all get to that space of awareness. Some choose it. Some of us, our higher selves, our oversoul, our soul, our spirit, our superconscious brings it to us. Some of us, our teams, our spirit teams, our ancestors realize we really drunk on the programming, conditioning, indoctrination, trickery, illusions, etc. So they nudge us and they nudge us and they nudge us until they realize, wait now, we had to take more active action with this. We had to be more clear with it, with this fofo. And then we become aware of the awareness or the clarity or the guidance, and we action it, and we learn eventually through not trial and error, through experience, what works, what doesn't work, what we could do to improve, what we could do to transmute, alchemize, reframe the low vibrating loops, patterns, habits, cycles, behavior, etc. So it's a process, it's a learning, developmental process, and it's a continuously moving thing, and there's no wrong or right about it, there's no good or bad about it. It is what it is, and it is really up to us to be present with the experience and to choose light, to choose medicine, to choose ease, and to look back on the results and the consequences of that experience and learn from ourselves. We are our guru, we are our teachers, our doctors, our guides, our counselors, our therapists. We are that for ourselves. We are our student. We ought to be learning from ourselves. Learning, okay, fine. How can I use a better language to get a better result? A more high vibrating result? What tone, content, consistency can I engage to get a higher vibrating result? And you learn this by looking at you, by sitting with you, leaning into the experience objectively, without being judge, jury, executioner, punisher, or without attaching or expecting to it. With patience, compassion, ease, and grace, you lean into you, you observe you, you listen to you with your ears and with your heart. You listen to you and you study you. You look at your loops, patterns, habits. You look where you're making excuses, where you're being lazy, where you're procrastinating, where you may or may not have blind spots, and you action this. You do something beautiful about it. You take responsibility and you transmute, you alchemize, you reframe, you transition, or you transform, you reframe to a higher vibrating state. And those are choices which are engaged on our side, your side of your fence, because only us are on our side of our fences. We are the most qualified foes to guide us, to show up for us, to heal us, to be there for us, to hold our hands, to facilitate us, to facilitate for us, to facilitate through us. And all of that is self-sovereignty, which is a work in progress. And again, all these awarenesses were we were engineered away from it. There were agendas and policies by entities to separate and divide us from it, to distract and dis-ease us, to bring discordance to our lives, our path, our processes, so that we will not access our authentic alignment. And in not accessing our authentic alignment, we wouldn't access authentic clarity, true truth, authenticity to really bring the light from within us to without, to the external, because that is what it is about. We here, all of us have different aspects of light, different quotients of light, different light quotients, different aspects, different resonances of light, and all of it is required now, and it's up to us, should we choose to create space to go within self, to find, to access that light, to nurture that light, to bring that light out, to use that light to develop ourselves, to heal ourselves, to transmute and alchemize and reframe our traumas, our dramas, our shoulda, coulda, woulda, our diseases, our infection, our bits and bobs. And it's a choice, and we weren't aware of these awarenesses. We weren't aware of the significance and power that free will holds. We weren't aware of the significance and power that our consent holds. We weren't aware of the significance and power of our creatorship, and the fact that we are alchemists, because we can transform anything into something beautiful should we choose, or we could transform anything into something other than beautiful, and that's alchemy. And we're all alchemists. Basic form of alchemy is cooking. You're taking different ingredients and you're making one beautiful pot, one beautiful dish. You're using different words, you're using different tone, content, consistency, to help someone navigate a disease, to help someone who is vibrating low, to help someone who is emotionally reactive or is in an emotional or quote-unquote sensitive or quote-unquote vulnerable place. To use the alchemized words, spells, commandments to bring ease to them, bring ease through them, bring ease to through and throughout their processes, their experiences, their whatever. And yeah, so alchemy, we practice more than most of us practice alchemy and create and engage our creatorship every day on an ignorant, unknowing basis, respectfully. And that's factual, that's not speculation or projection. And it's really a matter of being aware that, you know, we are light, we are creators, we are alchemists, we are self-sovereign, we have consent, we have free will, which are gifted and inherited from the Almighty Creator. And how to action it, how to engage it, how to access it, how to engage it within honor and integrity, how to engage it within natural laws, how to engage it without bringing or bearing harm, disease or loss to anyone or anything, how to engage it without being compromising, disrespecting or alienating any aspect of ourself, our awesomeness, our light, our family, our relatives, our bloodlines, our ancestors, our communities, our countries. And again, all of these awarenesses require being actioned immediately and thoroughly. And it's a work in progress, and as we continue to ascend or evolve or roll into this new age, because we have entered a new age, we have left the Piscean age, the Kali Yuga age, we are now entering into an age some refer to as age of Aquarius, the Aquarian age, which is a form of the golden age, because everything is going to be of the quality, level and vibration of gold. So it's a golden age. Well-being, happiness, development, states of beings are going to be are in the process of being transformed, alchemized, transmuted, reframed, transitioned into a higher state of vibration, into a higher state of consciousness. And it's really about slowing down, choosing to slow down and take responsibility, create space, on a daily basis, establish a daily practice, mindfully, actively, consistently, with patience, compassion, ease, and grace, engage that daily practice with self, with accessing self, with healing self, with mentoring self, and that those relationships and connections that we have with spirit, with our spirit guides, spirit helpers, spirit guardians, spirit facilitators, and our ancestors, and the Almighty Creator, and nature, and elements, and elementals, and mindfully, actively, consciously learning their different languages, because each member of our spirit teams, each member of the our ancestors, elements, elementals, guardians, guides, they all have a different language. They all communicate differently. Some communicate with words, spells. Some communicate telepathically. Some communicate sensorily. Some communicate through sound, through scent. Some just give you symbols and images, where you, as the student of your creatorship, student of your self-sovereignty, student of your light, student of your awesomeness, student of you are to decipher, decode, translate, and interpret that. And those processes, what influence those processes is where you are developmentally, is where your current conscious state lies, is where you are evolutionary. It is as per how much of your trauma you have attended and not yet attended to, how much of your underdevelopment and undevelopment you have and have not yet attended to. Those diseases, unattended, unaddressed diseases, dysfunctions, discordance, polarity engineerings, those unaddressed, unattended, underattended, not yet addressed bits and bobs influence how we identify, perceive, decode, decipher, and translate incoming communication from our teams and from ourselves, from the different aspects of ourselves, from our different traumas as a part of us. Our jealousy, shame, blame, guilt, embarrassment, those are different aspects of ourselves. Fear, joy, etc. Those are different aspects of ourselves. They have different languages. It is for us to slow down, it's a choice, and to go within and to learn those different languages, and to communicate with those different aspects of ourselves, those different aspects of our teams, and to bring ease to ourselves, bring ease to our space and spaces, bring ease to our bloodlines, our families, our ancestors, our lineages, our communities, bring ease to our countries, bring ease to this world. Charity begins at home. It starts and ends with us. It's up to us. It's a choice to go within and do that, or to point fingers and blame and expect somebody to do it, and when they don't do it, when they don't engage it as per what we prefer, how we prefer it, when we prefer it, in the pace and state in which we prefer it, and then we react to them. We punish them, we judge them, we ostracize them. Perspective. Everything is really perspective, and again, our perspective is influenced by our unattended, underattended, not yet attended bits and bobs, and that is where the diseases lie. With us, because of us neglecting, abandoning, and forsaking our mental, emotional, psychological, sexual, verbal, communicative, nutritional, physical, energetic, and spiritual bodies, fields, states, layers, levels, dimension, densities, places, points, locations, etc. We abandoned the development, well-being, and evolution of all of that. We did that. No one did that. We did that, because those things are only engaged on our side of our fence. And the engagement of that the nurturing of that, the maintenance of that, is what brings ease, is what brings us our fractured aspects of our souls that are trapped in a traumatic, diseasing, infected, confused, polarized experiences of the past. Those engagements free, liberate, restore, transmute, alchemize, reframe those aspects of us that are stuck in the past and bring them from the past to the present, and likewise from the future into the present, and likewise from different timelines, realities, and dimensions and densities to the present, to the now moment. And those things are critical and necessary and ought to be priority to engage at the moment. And that's a work in progress, and to each their own. There's no good or bad or right or wrong. However you do it, that's the way it's done. It's done your way because it's your life, your journey, your contract, your lessons, your processes. And however you engage it, that's the way it's done. And after you engage it, there's a result and a consequence. And you choose to mindfully, actively, consistently, healthily, constructively learn from those results and consequences. And then after you learn, you integrate the learning. And in the integration of the learning, you would experiment and you would poke and prod and try it and see what results you get here, what results you get there. And those processes reinforce the lesson. And then the lesson is properly, thoroughly integrated. And after the integration of the lesson, you apply the lesson. When you apply the integrated lesson, then is when you experience a higher vibrating experience. And thereby, the low vibrating loops, patterns, habits, behaviors, cycles are transmuted, are reframed. So there's a process. The thing is, if you choose to avail yourself to the process, it is a choice. However you do it, that's the way it's done, because it's your life, and the only way is your way, because only you on your side of your fence. And
now, now we reached this part. There was a lot of explanation there, isn't it?
I was just going because you were.
Yeah, I know, but that was important still. But it had to happen.
Yeah.
And that just walk away.
I just went with the flow.
And now the spirit just had to that channel open up. Yeah, that's what we needed. Yeah. So we've got works to do. Before we round up this little conversation, what do you want to offer the general public? What would you like to offer them before because we're coming to the closure of this little talk?
Yeah.
Now you're here for a purpose. We're all here for a purpose, right? What is it that you would like to offer them? What is it that you'd like to offer the listeners or anybody that the platform that we're going to be on? What is it that you're bringing to the table? What do you want to offer them?
My intention, my passion is to offer for more than most of us is a reminder, because we have this in our DNA, embedded in our DNA, embedded in the marrow of our bones, embedded in our energetic bodies, embedded deep in our different minds and hearts and different states, levels, layers, dimensions and densities of our consciousnesses. We have this embedded there. So I wish to present and remind you that you're awesome. And everything about you is awesome. And that awesomeness requires immediate and thorough nurturing, development, healing, transmutation, alchemizing, transformations, transitions, reframing from you. Because only you on your side of your fence. And regardless to what state of consciousness you choose to shift your state, you choose to shift you into, you are awesome. That is irrefutable. That is fact. The thing is apart from the irrefutable fact that you are awesome, it is to be loyal to your awesomeness. Please stay awesome. If anyone's saying or doing whatever, they are entitled to that. That is them engaging their inalienable right, which is their free will, which is their consent. That is none of your business. You mind your business, stay in your lane. Your business is to be awesome. Your thoughts supposed to be awesome. Your intentions, tone, content, consistency, your action, your attitude, your personality, your delivery, your execution, everything everything supposed to be awesome. And that is on you, because that is only on your side of your fence, and being awesome is a choice. Not only is it a choice, it is a natural thing, because you are awesome. You were gifted and inherited that awesomeness from the Almighty Creator. Action that awesome, be loyal to that awesome, stay with and within that awesomeness. Do not forsake it, do not be disloyal to it. Stay awesome, be awesome, enjoy your awesomeness, please. Namaste, light and bliss, be more.
All right. So, give thanks for the reasoning as you sit down and hear him talk for a little while still. We're going to do a part 2 to this reasoning. I'm going to post this reasoning up today. Yeah, before tomorrow full moon. Right? And, yeah, brethren, give thanks for the reasoning. We're going to do a part 2 to this reasoning, so stay tuned. And thank you for sharing this reasoning, because we've got a lot more things to talk about, and we've got a lot more reasoning to do. We've got a list of topics, so this is just the beginning. Yeah, this is not even the beginning. This is what they call the contents. This is the contents of the book. Yeah, so we've got many more chapters to come. This is just the opening thing. Yeah, and we're gonna go every other week. We're going to be talking about different topics. We're not going to be saying the same thing over and over again. We're going to be changing the topic every week, right? So stay tuned. Thank you for listening, and God bless. Oh yeah, that's my name.
Gratitude to everyone and everything that contributed to know. Gratitude, light and bliss.
Bless.